Hello and welcome to the Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. I'm Matt Mercer, instructor for the Pathfinder School and the founder of the Black Hat Bushcraft channel right here on YouTube. And this afternoon I'm going to be doing something a bit different for our show. We've had a ton of requests come through at Reliance Outfitters on how to maintain and keep clean your stainless steel cooking gear while you're in camp. And so today I wanted to share with you just a couple of methods that work for me and have worked for years on cleaning up your camp cookware out here in the field, and also just a couple of quick tips and tools that I use when I'm maintaining these things at home as well. Of course, sometimes we're cleaning our gear out here in the woods, and sometimes we're cleaning it up once we get back home. So these quick, simple tips are going to help you keep your favorite stainless steel pots and pans in top cooking order for that next camp meal. So let's get started on cleaning up right now. So one of the very best ways to clean your stainless steel camp cookware is to make your way down to a creek or a stream, somewhere where you have a water source. And in the very bed of that water source, you're going to find some sand and silt and things like that that make a great abrasive, especially when you have a pot or a pan like mine today where I've got all that burned on food. It's going to help score the surface of the inside of that pan and scrub all of that stuff off. So what I'm going to do here, this stuff is really burned in good, is just collect up some of that silt here. And that stuff again is going to make a great abrasive in the bottom of my pot. And if you have a small bandana or a handkerchief, which I have one in my cook kit on purpose just for that, you can get that down in there and get that silt on the rag, and now that becomes about as good as anything you could want to scrub out a container with. This is my go-to method here. And I had chili cooking in this pot before, and that stuff got burned on the bottom, and I mean, it is really caked in there good. I'll let you see up close what this looks like down in the pot. Well, it's a nasty mess in there, but all of that mud, that stuff there, is very abrasive, and it'll help. As you can hear, it's just scoring the inside of that pot. Of course, it's not damaging it in any way, but it'll help scrub that burned on stuff out. And even when you come out here on the outside of your pot like this, sometimes you have those burn stains and stuff like that. This will help polish that stuff up. You can see I've got some black right there. And that stuff will just really polish the outside of your pot and make it look almost like new. All right, so I'm going to finish polishing out the inside of this pot, try to get the rest of this chili out, and I'll show you the result. All right, let's rinse this out and take a look on the inside what this pot's looking like now. It took me a couple of minutes of scrubbing. But yeah, you can see I got almost all of that blackened stuff out of there. I think there might be one little spot left. There's one little spot down in there, but the rest of that pot is looking shiny. And just a little more scrubbing here. All right, so I've just taken a cloth and dried my bush pot off. And as you can see, it looks plenty clean on the outside, which it wasn't that bad on the outside to begin with. But on the inside, it was trashed out with all that burnt chili. And as you can see, it's nice and shiny back in there again and quite ready for cooking up my next meal. In my opinion, using the silt and dirt out of the bottom of a creek like that is the best way to polish up your stainless steel cook gear. As long as you have a stream or some type of a creek like that to collect that material and just use a small scrap of cloth to polish it out, you can get just about anything out of the bottom of your stainless steel gear. So one other really quick tip that'll make this job go a lot faster and easier is once you finish up with your camp meal, fill up your pot or your pan with clean water and place it back on the fire or on your stove and bring that water to a boil. Let it just simmer for a few minutes, and that'll help soften up all that burned on food in the bottom. And when you go to scrub out your pot or pan, it'll make it that much easier. I didn't have a fire going today, so I didn't do that step, but without doing that, it just made it a little bit harder, and so all the more of a good test of this method. But if you have the opportunity, if you're in a base camp or something like that, fill that pot up with water, get it hot, let it boil a few minutes, and it'll just make your job that much more simple, again, when you go to scrub it out. So I also have with me today my Pathfinder stainless skillet, and I fried eggs in this skillet this morning. As you can see, I have some eggs burned on in that skillet. Sometimes that stuff can be a bit of a pain to get off, so we're going to do that as well. I have just a hand-carved spatula. You could always just cut a piece of wood in camp and just create a chisel edge like a spatula will have, and just use that to help scrape and scrub off a lot of that material. So if you don't have any other type of tool, just a quick chisel tip on a piece of wood or your cooking spatula is a good start. We can also put this pan down here, get some water in it, use a little bit of that grit and scrub it out, and it's going to clean up really quick. Just put a little water in the skillet there and use this spatula. And that stuff's coming out pretty good. Once again, for a little bit that's kind of stubborn. I don't even need my rag for this. I can just use my hand, a little bit of that silt, and that stuff's coming right out. So once again, I've come back over here to the deeper part in the creek. I'm just gonna rinse that thing out good. And once I've done that, just take my clean cloth once again, and just dry it off. This pan should be good to go for my next camp meal. I'll give you a close-up. And as you can see, it's good to go. Now, my pan has some, staining in it from years of cooking on fires and things like that. So that's about as clean as mine gets. Even when I'm at home and I clean it with the best of tools, it just has a little bit of wear and tear on it, which I don't mind at all. I like that. It's years of service right there. All right, so as you could see, we were able to take just a couple of very simple implements and bring this Pathfinder stainless skillet and 64-ounce bush pot back from being really nasty and soiled to being quite what we would call camp clean. In other words, ready to cook up your next meal. And it didn't take much time, much energy, and just a couple of simple tools there. So in my opinion, this is my go-to method to clean up my dishes when I'm in camp or in the field. Let's talk about what to do once you get home to bring this pot and skillet back to almost like new condition. All right, so I'm back in the kitchen once again, and once we get back to a sink or back home, that's when you can really restore your stainless cooking gear to as close to like new condition if you want to do that. You can take it past camp clean and prepare it for storage and ultimately for your next outing. And I found that there's a few tools that I can keep on hand at home to really shine this stuff up. Keep in mind that I film episodes for YouTube, Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen, so I want my skillets and pots to look like new. My personal stuff that I'm using regularly in the field, I'll let it blacken up and it doesn't bother me. But being that I'm filming a show, I want it to look nice. So one of the items that really works well on the inside of a pot or pan, especially when you got caked on stuff or burned on material like I had earlier that I demonstrated removing in the creek. These little soap pads, Brillo pads, it's just steel wool impregnated with powdered soap. These things will clean just about anything out. And so it's great having these on hand at home, or if you have a base camp or a hunter camp or something like that, it's good to have these on hand and you can clean just about anything with them. So I use those on the inside of my pots and pans when I have that boo-boo and burn that food on really good. Another thing that's great for cleaning the inside of pots and pans, and these are really designed for cast iron, are these little plastic scrapers. And what I like about these is each corner is a little different. And these corners fit inside the corner of your pot or pan. And most likely one of the four corners will match whatever container you're working with. You also have a rounded edge and you have a flat edge right here. So when you want to get into the bottom of that skillet or your cast iron pan or bush pot, whatever, you can scrape that stuff out really good in place of a wooden spatula like we used earlier. But these things are just great for getting in the corners and scraping that burned on food out. I always keep one of these on hand, and sometimes I carry these in the field as well. The last and final thing that I like to use on the exterior of my pots and pans are these magic erasers. And if anything's going to bring that thing back to new, this will do it. When you get on the exterior of your skillet or bush pot, this thing will really shine those surfaces up. Just get a little water on it, and any stains that you get up there from soot or smoke or whatever, if you look on the edge of the skillet right down in here, there's kind of some black stuff that's collected there, which again, I don't mind that personally, but normally before the shows I film, I'll clean that stuff up, make it look nice. If anything's going to take that off, this magic eraser will. You can see I'm already getting some stuff on it. And this was already clean for the most part, at least camp clean from my outing. But you can see right there, maybe not, but it's taking that stuff off and getting that thing almost like a shiny mirror finish to it. So I really like these magic erasers again for the exterior. If you want to bring it back to silver, shiny stainless, that's the tool to use for that. And then once you've scraped out the inside, if you want to kind of shine the inside of your pan, these are great for doing that as well. So 3 tools again that I like to use for cleaning once I get home: scraper, magic eraser, steel wool or soap pads. These things will get you as clean as you possibly can, so you can keep that stainless steel cook gear in the best working order. So I figured I'd take just a minute and go over this 64-ounce bush pot. This is the exact one that you just saw me clean in the creek a little bit ago, and just kind of get some of that residue, a little greasy residue on it. And I thought I would mention, if you've ever watched my channel, Black Hat Bushcraft, I've done a lot of overnighter videos and camp cooking videos on the fire, on the camp stoves, things like that. And if you've ever watched other episodes of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen and you've seen me cook in a bush pot, a 64-ounce bush pot, this is the specific bush pot that I was using. This is the only one I've ever filmed with. And if you look at that thing, it's been in service for years now, and it's cooked on the stove at home, it's cooked on the camp stove, been hung over fires, and it's in no worse for the wear condition. And all I've ever done is what I've shown you guys today. I've maintained it with the simple tools and methods that we've done in this video. And this thing, you know, it basically is like a new bush pot, other than just a few marks here and there. So this stuff is made to last a lifetime and beyond. And if you maintain it, I'm sure it'll serve not just you, but possibly future generations. So that's what I do to keep my stainless Pathfinder cooking gear in top working order. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to tune in for these quick and simple tips of how to bring your stainless steel cook gear back to camp clean. In other words, ready to cook up that next camp meal. And then also, once you get back home, how to restore your stainless steel pots and pans to like new condition or best possible condition. In Horace Kephardt's book, Camp Cookery, at least on one occasion, he talks about the merit of having a blackened skillet or blackened bush pot. And once you use these items over the fire a few times, they're going to start to blacken on the outside from the soot and smoke and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with leaving the exterior of that pot and skillet black. A lot of people swear by doing that just because black conducts heat better, and a lot of people feel like it cooks their food faster. Some people can't stand to have that blackened, dirty looking skillet, and so they want to polish that thing back after every outing to shiny stainless, and there's nothing wrong with that. It really comes down to personal preference. I promise you that your bush pot and skillet will cook food either way, whether it's shiny or whether it's blackened. So just do what works best for you. If you like to bring it back to that shiny state, these tips will help you to do that. If you want to keep it blackened and keep that thing all, dirtied up from the fire, just get yourself a bush pot bag or a skillet bag, and that'll help keep your other gear in your pack clean when it's in that state. So I want to thank you guys for your time, interest, all your support. Don't forget to submit your favorite camp recipes to the email address listed down below. And you never know, your favorite camp meal just may become the next episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. So I hope you guys will be safe. I hope you'll take care. And I look forward to seeing you back here in the woods to do some cooking really soon.